Yeah, I also had a great quote. I forgot who said it once. It said, sometimes you get better from what you stop doing as opposed to what you start doing.
Exactly.
And that was a big one for me because you mentioned before is that therapeutic interventions are also stressors. So you have people that are coming in to see you. If they're coming in to see me for help, I already know you're stressed. That's why you're coming to see me for help. Because it's manifesting as pain for you in some way, shape, or form, right? And then since the zombie apocalypse that we had recently, everybody's under stress, right? And all these things are beginning to manifest themselves. And I realized that I'm contributing to that with an overload of the therapies that I'm doing. And it really was an epiphany, too, to back off on the dose that I was doing and realizing that I don't have to put you in pain to try to take away your pain. So I'm putting you into more stress because you hate me for hurting you more when you're on my table, even though you say, it hurts so good, it feels so good. But I realize that you're not getting better because your nervous system put up a block and said, I can't do anything with this. You're overloading me, right? And then that survival response kicked into play. And when it kicks into survival mode, it goes back to the patterns that's been keeping it alive all this time. And I don't even call them dysfunctional patterns in my world because they're highly functional. But how do I know? Because you're not
they're
dead.
Doing their job, right? Those things, those dysfunctions are actually doing their job.
Right.
They're just having to do their job because something else is not doing theirs.
Right.
So they are breaking down over time, whatever system it is. I mean, we focus on the musculoskeletal system, but it's whatever system it is.
Right.
It's having to take over to try to maintain homeostasis, but it's not. And I think that's part of, again, that's part of the difficulty we have. How do we navigate all this?
Well, it's like this. Many of the things that happen to us, like if you roll your ankle, you're going to limp. And that's a temporary functional response to get the weight and the dorsiflexion off that leg. You're going to have a shorter stride on your good side, and you're basically going to unload that leg temporarily. And if you don't have crutches or a brace, a limp is a pretty functional solution.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a long-term solution because now you're going to throw out your back. So the body is subconsciously on the ready and has 4 different options how to get from point A to point B. One of those is sustainable. 3 of those are temporary, probably really good solutions, but not long-term sustainable. And that's how we get away from that. If you got a reason to limp, I'm not going to try to treat or talk you out of it. I'm going to try to basically honor the weight-bearing status that your body's already set.
And it can get caught in that neuroplastic loop. I mean, because it was effective for it at one point.
It was.
But it may just not know that there's another effective strategy because you don't know what you don't know. The awareness part, right? I heard somebody phrase it once. It was a neuroscientist said, it's not about good and bad in relationship to the decisions that your brain makes. It's about utility. It never does anything that's not useful. And you're like, but it hurts and it doesn't make sense. Back to my quote. I don't care if it makes sense or not. It's useful for it at some point in its life, in your life. And it may be going with that because it worked in the past. So that's why I like the stuff about the movement and awareness, because now you're bringing it to the conscious mind of like, oh, wow, I didn't know that I was limping because I don't even know they're doing it.